How's it going, good people? Thank you for checking out this video. In this video, I'm going to be answering a question that I've gotten several times within the last month. Now, you're watching this well after the fact, so I will give some additional context. As at the time of this video being recorded, approximately 2 weeks or so, maybe a little bit longer ago, Microsoft announced that it was laying off a number of people, in addition to some other tech companies talking about and actually saying they were going to do layoffs. That being said, I'm going to be talking about would I be working for some of these employers. My name is Kenny. I run Robinson Handy Technology Services. This is the Tech Talk with RHT Services, where I talk about all kinds of things related to tech, software development, and web development. Now, the question that usually I get asked is, would you work for Meta or Google? And the answer is, let me rephrase. I will also include Facebook in that as well, because while there is Meta, there's also it's a separate setup for Facebook. And so, would you work for any of those three? And the answer is no, I wouldn't. And I know people like, but you would get paid so much money. And that is true. You would get a decent paycheck. The caveat to that, though, is that you would really be working for that paycheck. When you set up environments where you try to blur the line between how much work you're doing and you having your own free time, that is a problem for me. And where I've gotten to in life, I understand that there does need to be a separation between work and personal, aka the work-life balance. Now, some people will say there's no such thing as a work-life balance. Yes, there is. And if you say there isn't, then you're probably not doing something right, or you're over your heels over your head in that regard. But I will say this: some of these tech companies are set up in a way that you're technically always working. When I did level 2 production support, we were technically always on call, even when we weren't the on-call person. So we weren't necessarily the primary on-call person. However, if our application were to experience an issue, we had to be prepared, or the backup support person had to be prepared to resolve that issue in a timely manner. That being said, the way that Meta and Google are set up, they try to blur the lines between work and personal. Thus, why they have things like childcare, they have like full cafeterias at the office, they have gyms at the office, showers at the office. Some of these offices actually have places where you can sleep and take naps and so forth. And so if you start to blur that line between when you're working and when you're not working, then it becomes a point of you end up working all the time. When you end up working all the time, a lot of the other stuff like socializing with people, attending networking events that is specific to your industry or where your city or your age group, going to church, going to sporting events, all of these other type of things that you normally would do, you will eventually stop doing. And that's what I've heard from other people, that they found themselves spending so much time at work working, or they were at home working, that they missed out on the other aspects of just being a member of society, family function, friends. You get the idea. For that reason, I was like, I don't want to have that life where I go to work and then everything is happening or is taken care of while I'm at work, but then I'm motivated by this structure to constantly always work. Like, there's no fun in that, in my opinion. Yes, I would get paid great, but there's nothing great about consistently working 60 to 80 hours every week to meet this objective that corporate, whoever it is in corporate, has defined. If you don't have the opportunity to do the things that you want to do, that ultimately leads you to down a road of depression and mental health issues. Now, in some cases, if you're not aware, like if you're so caught up in getting the things done and constantly working, you may miss the point of your mental health suffering until it's too late. And that's a dangerous situation to be in. You want to be able to catch those things well in advance. Likewise, when it comes to depression, not maintaining your health, because there are some cases where I've seen where people were working 100+ hours every week, and eventually it caught up with them because of the fact they were working so much, they weren't sleeping, they weren't eating right, they weren't getting exercise or physical activity, and so it caught up with them, and then boom, they had this major event, whether it be a heart attack or a severe illness or whatever the case may be. It's like now you can't even make the money because of the fact your body is physically stressed out. That being said, that is one, and I could probably go on a little bit longer, but of course, well, I'm not going to do that. But that is pretty much the driving factor of me, saying, hey, if I were to get the opportunity, would I take it? Nah, not interested. I enjoy being able to do work, and then once I leave work, being able to do what I choose to do, whether it's working on personal projects, working on this channel, working on the other channels that I run. Being able to do those things and being able to get the enjoyment out of doing those things is more important than any dollar amount that I would ever make. And believe it or not, there are some wealthy people that are miserable, and they won't tell you. They may not tell you about it straight up, but I've heard it said several times before that they were working consistently. For example, Shannon Sharp on his Club Shay Shay podcast, he has mentioned in several of the episodes where in his younger years, he was so caught up in doing football. If it didn't revolve around football, he wasn't with it. But now that he's had his football career, retired from football, that is, does the TV thing, has made all his money that he's made and then some. He said he looks back now and realizes, yeah, I got all this money, but I have nobody to share it with. He has his football colleagues, that he can hang out with and stuff like that, but he missed the, having a relationship, setting up wife, or having a wife, not setting up a wife, having a wife and a house to come home to with family at home and stuff like that nature. He said he missed that, he missed setting all of that up. And, it's great that, yeah, you got all this money, but at the end of the day, it's like, what's more important? Do you want to have the memories or do you want to have the money? That being said, hopefully this gives some insight into whether you should go work for any of these companies. Keep in mind now that this is just my opinion, but if you have your differing opinion, drop it down below. I'd love to have the conversation with anybody that's willing to talk about, their experiences. If you even worked at Facebook, Meta, or Google, what was your experience? Did you enjoy it? Would you go back? All right. Comments or questions, leave those down below. Thank you for checking out this video. Please be sure to subscribe, follow, and give a thumbs up. And we'll see you in the next one.